Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 160. Aaron, do you happen to know what time it is?
I don't know. I lost my Timo clock.
Timo time. Actually, it wasn't Timo time tonight, but before that, it was Timo time. Peter St. John, by the way, it's been evening, guys. Hey, what's up? Good to see you here. Aaron, a 7-game point streak for Timo unfortunately ended tonight. But what's going on with him? He's on fire, bud.
It's one of my favorite words. It's called market correction, or phrases, I guess. 2 words. 8 goals, 5 assists in 7 games. That is not bad. He's a +7. 3 power play goals and a power play assist, and 38 shots on goal. The man loves to shoot, so he loves sending rubber to the opposing goalies every night. Too bad he didn't score tonight, but man, did he have a bunch of shots tonight. He had some good ones too. He had some good looks.
Yeah, isn't he leading the team in shots on goal?
Yes. Almost the league.
Oh, really?
He's up there. Yeah. He loves to shoot, man.
Yeah, like you said, it just wasn't clicking for him in the beginning of the season. It seems like he's got it figured out now, though. So not tonight, obviously, but in these last few games, he's certainly stringing it together. Doing a fantastic job. Peter St. John, that's Timo. Like most scorers, when he gets it going, let's go, baby. Kellen Foster says, let's go, baby. Yep. Be nice to see him continue that role. So, Aaron, I'm still a little conflicted here because, again, this entire time we've been talking about, hey, we want to get as good of a pick as we possibly can. But, gosh, the Sharks just kind of seem to be, I don't know, getting just a little bit better every time we watch them, right? I don't know. What's your take on this? Are you worried?
Am I worried that they're not going to get Bedard? I never thought that they were going to get the number 1 overall unless they won the lottery. Like, it wasn't going to be – I didn't think they were going to be the worst team here. There's a bunch of worse teams. Worser teams.
More worser.
For instance, Anaheim, still without a regulation win. And here we are halfway through November. Was today?
My goodness.
Yeah, today's the 13th. Just about halfway through November. Not one regulation win. So – they are, man, can you imagine that team with Connor Bedard? That will be deadly. Zagreus is feeding him the puck all the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, thanks. That wouldn't be fun to play against all the time.
Yeah. Not want.
Yeah, hopefully Anaheim picks it up a little bit here. Weird to say. Really weird to say.
Kellen would like to know, did you drink a victory beer for the W today? Peter St. John. Peter, go ahead and respond to that one. But Aaron, were you feeling celebratory?
It's so funny. I really don't like the shootout. I really dislike it because it's a skills competition. It went to the 5th or 6th shooter, and it could have gone either way. It really could have. And we would be here talking about a loss instead of a win. So to me, it's like it was a tie, and they did a skills competition to might as well do a coin toss. Like, just do a coin toss. Here, it'll be quicker. Get these people home. The shootout is just blah. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it.
Nick, the statistician here, says leads the league with 86 shots. That's Timo Meier. Pasta in second with 84, and Matthews in third with 73. That's pretty good company to be keeping for shots on goal. I wish the goal count was higher, or do I?
Well,
again, what we just talked about, but
it will be because, like I said earlier, market correction here. He's at 8.1 shooting percentage. It should be a little bit higher than that. So the goals will be coming in bunches.
Absolutely, totally, 100% agree. Okay, hey guys, before we continue on here, if you're liking the stream so far, or if you can see into the future and you know that you will like the stream, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please hit that button as well. And the notification bell lets you guys know when we're going live. We don't do a ton of these shows, usually just once a week, so we're not going to fill up your inbox with a bunch of junk. So feel free to do that. Now, if you want to support the show, feel free. The super chat is there and available. You can put down a comment. We'll read it off during the stream. Or you can go to Venmo and at the Fin Factor, leave us a tip there. And again, if we see the comment, we will say it on the stream for you. So there is that. Okay, there's a couple other comments that are rolling in here. I don't know. I haven't read this beforehand, so hopefully everybody's clean. Haha, confession from Peter St. John. I haven't seen the game yet. Most of the beer drinking was done a long time ago when I was a kid. Fair enough. Okay. And then Ben and Gunsery saying, we are playing poorly right now. This winning streak is pushing us farther away from a chance of getting Bedard. Yes, Ben, that is my conflict right now. I'm enjoying the Sharks playing well. My whole thing was play well, but then get the loss. Try to make it entertaining, but stay in the hunt. But I don't know. I think we're not going to be that team that's at the bottom of the standings this season. I think we're going to be just a little bit higher, unfortunately, and just not making playoffs. But is what it is. Anyway, let's go ahead about the St. Louis game here. Aaron, this was a 5-3 loss to St. Louis. This is kind of the hockey that we were looking for. It's one of those games where we get to see the Sharks being the team that we think they're going to be, where there's a small stretch of not very good hockey. But for the most part, they stayed in the game. They made it interesting. They made it entertaining. But then again, picking up the 0 points in the Bedard sweepstakes. So why don't you talk us a little bit through this game? What you saw, what you thought they did well, or maybe didn't.
I mean, lately the Sharks mainly this season have been scoring the first goal of the game and then losing it. In this case, they did not score the first goal of the game, but they kept tying it, so it was going back and forth. So it went St. Louis Sharks, St. Louis Sharks, St. Louis Sharks, St. Louis on the empty netter. So it was a very close game. I think it was a good game in terms of the Sharks like being able to bounce back on an away game in St. Louis. St. Louis is also a team that is better than they have been playing. They are even below the Sharks in the standings, if you can believe that. They have less points than the Sharks. So this was for their team, I feel like they were under a lot more pressure than the Sharks were to win this game, and they were fighting for it. So it was a pretty tough game, but I just liked that the way that the Sharks were able to bounce back after each goal and basically pick themselves up on their bootstraps and score and tie up the game and keep going. So, I love these. I love that they lose because I want them to get a high pick, but I want them to play well. And I felt like they were, obviously they didn't play well enough to win, and wasn't their best game, but I don't think that they're never getting blown out in games. They don't look like they don't belong. You know what I mean? Like they're just kind of, they hang around and they fight and they do good things. And to me, these are the building blocks going into next season that they're going to be able to build off of and be a much better team. So they're kind of going through all the adversity now, which we assumed was going to happen. And this is part of it. So I don't mind these losses. St. Louis is a good team. It's hard to win on the road in the NHL. Everything's very close. And this was, again, a close game. We do have a clip here from Logan Couture after the game on what he thought, kind of not just this game, but other games as well. Like what's going on? Why can't they string together any wins here? So here's Logan Couture on his reasoning.
Yeah, played really well for spurts, and we didn't play well for about 7-8 minutes in the second, but then just big time mistakes that end up in our net, and it's happening every single night. So we got to find a way to avoid making the big mistakes. Obviously, some mistakes are going to happen throughout a game, but the big ones are killing us right now.
Yeah, they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Like if you think about some of these losses, they were in control of the game. They were ahead most of the games, and then end up losing it. Either in the beginning of the season, it was the second period that was their nemesis. Then it became the third period that was their nemesis, and they couldn't even score. Now they're kind of balancing it out and figuring out their game, hence the wins coming up against both Dallas and Minnesota. I can't call Minnesota a win. It's just not a win. It's a tie. It's a tie with a bonus point. How about that? I'll call them that from now on. It's a mouthful.
The competitive game against Minnesota is what you mean to say.
Sure.
Which is what it was, right? That's what we want. Again, we want to be entertaining and competitive, which they did.
We'll get to it, but they were down 2-0 and they came back and tied it. That's great. They're not out of these games. They're not getting blown out. It's fantastic. It's fun to watch. It is still entertaining hockey. We're seeing Meyer just go on a huge scoring streak. Eric Carlson still kind of like creating offense and leading the team, and defenseman in the entire league in scoring. So makes me happy that the Sharks are fantasy relevant. There's some players on the team that you can pick up for your fantasy team. That's exciting because it makes it exciting to watch and see what they do. I'd rather 5-4 losses or wins than 2-1, 1-0, 3-1. Like those are just boring games. So bring it on. I like it. It's fun.
So in regards to what you're talking about, Peter St. John says it's because we have about 2.5 lines worth of bottom 6 veteran NHL forwards. Hey, buddy, those bottom 6 veteran NHL forwards are going to be trade bait come trade deadline. So I'm not at all mad with the pickups that we have, and we'll talk a little bit about depth scoring and that kind of thing. Which I think this season compared to last season, there's no question to me that the Sharks' bottom 6, if you will, the second 6, is definitely better than what we had last season. So we had last season was like a revolving door of AHL talent. This is at least guys who have played in the NHL fairly steadily and bringing some level of stability to that line, to the team, really. Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, we talk about a guy like Nico Sturm on and off the ice. How do you not love this guy? This guy for me is like the forward version of Mario Ferraro, right? In terms of the work ethic. He does the right things on the ice. He says the right things on the off the ice. He's scoring goals at a pretty decent pace for a guy who's in that second 6, right? So I'm more than happy with Nico Sturm. I forget what his contract is, Aaron. Do you remember what his contract looks like in terms of length?
Yeah, I got it right here.
I thought he was a 3-year guy, wasn't he?
He is a 3-year guy. So this season plus 2 more.
Yep. And I'm hoping that he doesn't get traded away with those years on his contract to some other team. I hope that this is a guy that we stick with because I feel like once the Sharks kind of turn this page in the next couple of seasons here with the young bloods coming up and in, and then who knows what happens in free agency, but I feel like that's the type of a guy that you want on that roster. And I would not be shocked to see Nico Sturm be a part of this kind of turnaround for the team, and hopefully maybe even signing a contract beyond that. But we're looking way too far ahead for that. Right now, what we were talking about was, Logan Couture obviously had that clip where he was talking about what's going wrong. And then lo and behold, next game, here comes Logan Couture with a Gordie Howe hat trick. First of his career. Again, Dallas Stars, we played 5-4 win, and Couture gets a Gordie Howe. Now, if you don't know, that's a goal, an assist, and a fight. He fought Jamie Benn, of all guys. Aaron, were you a little bit scared for the captain trying to drop the mitts with Jamie Benn there? Because we've seen Jumbo do that, and it wasn't such a big deal, but that's Jumbo. Yeah. This is Logan.
Yeah, Logan. What scares me with Logan is he has a very long history of concussions as well. So if he takes a good pop in the head, that could put him out for weeks or even months. So he needs to be careful with that noggin of his. But yeah, that always makes me nervous. You take any of those guys that are in the top 6, if they're going to miss some significant time, the Sharks are really going to tank. So not that I want Logan to fight more because I want them to tank, but just not good. That's not the way I'd want to see it happen. So yeah, I mean, he's sticking up for his team. It's good for him. It's a good show of captaincy. And I don't know, Jamie Benn used to be the captain. I don't know if he still is of the Stars. I have a feeling he's not anymore. But former captain versus captain. So fun, entertaining. Ben's a big dude, though. That's much bigger than Logan. It's a different fight versus Jumbo versus Ben. So, yeah, he could have gotten hurt.
Want to point out Anthony Sanchez saying Jamie Benn held back against Logan. Yeah, that's he's still the captain. Peter St. John says, yeah, absolutely. That's captain material right there to recognize when you're fighting a guy who's not a fighter. He's just somebody that needed to get a punch in the face for that the time being there, and delivered, message sent. Thank you very much.
To his credit, Logan does have a very punchable face. I could see that.
You're not supposed to say that as a Sharks fan.
Sorry, Logan. I like him. He's a good guy. He's a good captain. Good player. Just punchable face. Just one of those punchable faces.
See, for those on the podcast, my image on the screen just got decidedly bigger than Aaron's. So this actually was the first Gordie Howe hat trick of Logan Couture's career. And it's apparently the 7th latest, I guess, in terms of games played by a player to have achieved that. So only 6 other guys have been older than him to get a Gordie Howe hat trick for their first.
Either older or games played. Might have been games played.
I think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying games played. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting stat, right? I mean, I don't know.
Took him
Kind
a
of
while,
weird
huh?
one.
No,
What's
it's
that?
funny. Like Gordie Howe took forever. He barely had any in his career, which is weird to think about because it's named after him. But
Yeah.
I think he has 2 in his career, if I remember correctly, and he's had a very long career. But yeah, whatever. It's cool. Cool to put in your belt, kind of.
Peter St. John would like you to define punchable. I think I'm going to give you this one here. Go ahead. Define punchable.
When you look at somebody in the face and you go, "You have a punchable face. I want to
Wow.
punch you in the face." That's a punchable face.
That's pretty basic, but okay. Barabanov scores his first goal of the season. Finally, Aaron. Finally.
He's
This is one of those guys we were hoping for bigger things. I know, and again, he started off the season. He wasn't with the team, right? Or I mean, he was with the team, but he wasn't actively playing in games. So, maybe just take him a little while to get the engine going here, which is fine. But gosh, this is one of those guys that you're looking at going, if this team is going to make any sort of push for anything whatsoever, he's one of those guys that needs to kind of get going. I don't know, man. It's first of the season. Do you think this is what gets the ball rolling? Does the floodgates open up for this guy right now, or is it just going to keep trickling?
He's not really like a goal scorer. He's more of a playmaker. So he's a guy that would get like 10 on a great season, probably 10 to 15 goals. I don't think he'd get close to 20. And then he's probably getting 30, 40 assists. So he's kind of like one of those players. I thought that game against Dallas was one of his best games. He was all over the ice. He was seeing people and making some passes. And even tonight's game, same thing. He didn't get on the score sheet tonight, but I think his game is finally kind of like really peaking at this point, and he's playing very well because he almost every time he's on the ice, something happens. That's it's a good sign of, like, he might not be scoring, but man, he's looking dangerous and he's making the players around him better. And I think that's where he's at right now. He did start off the season hurt, so he kind of, he missed training camp. He missed all the preseason. I think almost all the preseason games, or maybe got hurt in the very first one. I can't remember exactly, but he missed a lot of time. And then, it takes a while to get back up to game speed. So he kind of had his preseason, and now he's in full form and he's looking pretty good. So good on him. I'm glad. I like to see him succeed. He's one of my favorite players because he's so slick with the puck, and he's very good at entering into the zone with it. So his zone entries are great, and I think he's kind of on the half wall for the power play, and he looks good doing it. He feeds, it's kind of like where LeBanc was a couple years ago when he was manning the power play on that half wall. He kind of took over that, and good because I don't think LeBanc is as good as Barabanov at everything on the ice, not just offense.
It's funny you bring up LeBanc, and I remember I think it was just last episode, actually, you were saying you see him. Was it last episode or the one before? You were saying you see him as like the setup man, and I was disagreeing. I just don't feel like he's the guy that is supposed to, or that you would look to, that you would say, hey, give LeBanc the puck. We need a goal. Like, let him set up a play. He's not that for me, right? I kind of feel like I would like to see LeBanc more as the trigger man. I think he's got a pretty good shot. Maybe it's not elite, but I think he's got a pretty solid shot. And you've seen him shoot off with the right leg. You've seen him shoot off the left leg. He seems comfortable just unloading the puck from any situation. And that's kind of where I think I'd like to see Kevin used better. I don't think giving him the puck and hoping that he's going to make a play is the right call. I think give somebody else the puck that can get it to him and he can take that quick shot. That's what I see out of Kevin LeBanc. And I'm hoping he kind of comes to form in terms of shooting the puck a little bit more. I'm not sure what his stats are. I know we looked at some of the stats for guys that are shooting the puck and whatnot, and high danger, this, that, and the other. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit later on the show, but I'd like to see him kind of pull the trigger a little bit more. I also like to see him stay out of the penalty box, and we'll talk a little bit about that one too, I'm sure. But let's see. So we talked about Barabanov scoring his goal. Timo scored again in this one, and then the second regulation win. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's fun. There's a significant difference in everybody that gets post-game interviews after a win versus a loss. Like the mood is so different. It's funny because you're just like, oh man, it's a regular season. There's 82 games. It's a long drawn out season. Losses can't really get down on players that much, but it absolutely is true. So we have a clip here of David Quinn here after the win. He was asked about I'm trying to set this clip up here. He was asked about the Sharks didn't really get any shots off in the end of the third period, almost the whole period. They were just kept off the board. And then he was asked about was it the scheduling? Was it hard? Like, because it was a back-to-back, and did you have to make any adjustments than you normally would have done? So here is David Quinn's answer to all of that.
Well, I think human nature kicks in for a lot of things. I think they up their ante because they're down by 2, and we get a little bit safe. And, again, I think that's part of our mentality because we haven't had a lot of success lately. And, you're up 4-2, and I think, our mindset changes a little bit, and, we get conservative. So, we'll learn, though. We'll learn. And, we got 2 points tonight. We sorely needed it.
Did you make any adjustments along the way, specifically because this was the second of a back-to-back?
Yeah, we adjusted the fact that we were going to play better and have better breakouts. That's pretty much what we focused on after last night's game. Listen, we want to play a certain style regardless of our opponent, regardless of the situation. We didn't make any adjustment other than the fact that we focused on breaking the puck out of our own end better, and we did that tonight.
Fun to hear Quinn laugh, right? And be kind of happy versus, I think it was a week ago when he was like, was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago? I played a clip and he was so angry. It's like, oh man, that's not the kind of coach I want to piss off and be in that same room with.
Yeah, that was a good one. It's not, again, like you said, echoing those same sentiments. It's nice to hear the coach kind of having a bit of a laugh there. So good stuff from Coach Quinn. Winning makes everybody happy, right? Winning makes everything better. Does it
Absolutely.
not? Yeah,
Yes.
Especially for the fan base.
Winning cures all. It does.
Speaking of winning, again, tonight's game, Minnesota. Now, you don't count this as winning. Fine. I do because it shows up as a win. 3-2 in the shootout. Aaron, what? Why?
Nothing.
Why?
Nothing.
I know it's funny to me how much you hate the shootout. I'm having a good laugh at myself here. Something not quite so funny though. Kevin LeBanc making lots of mistakes in his zone, and there were 2 very unnecessary like back-to-back offensive zone penalties that he took, and it's just you hope that he kind of grows out of this because this has been a problem with Kevin LeBanc for as long as he's been on the Sharks. I think where he just kind of takes these weird penalties. Now sometimes it's hey, I'm trying to put the puck in out of desperation, right? And he swings the stick like tonight and gets a tripping call. Sometimes it's just laziness, right? You're not skating as hard as you can, or you letting somebody beat you to the outside, then you're just hooking or whatever the case might be. Today it was just, again, 2 kind of unnecessary ones where one of them was an interference call where he was kind of just, oh yeah, no, I'm just setting a pick. I'm just standing here, but he really wasn't. So it was kind of egregious. So they called him for it. And then again, the other one where he just sweeping his stick around. I don't know. Now, see, you've said before, hey, he was a 6th round pick, right? We got to cut this guy a little bit of slack. And I get that. 100% I get that. But at the same time, he's a guy that's been re-signed to a purpose at a dollar amount where you would think that, okay, let's kind of grow out of some of this stuff. But it's just not quite there. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think the reason he's getting ice time is because the Sharks don't really have a replacement for him. And also his contract kind of dictates that he needs to be playing because he's getting paid to be a top 6 guy when he's not really a top 6 guy. Again, I don't mind him as a 3rd line role, adding a little scoring punch to the 3rd line, but he needs to round out his game a lot better. Taking dumb penalties 200 feet away from your own goal is just not going to do it. In fact, that was a tripping one. He was laying down almost in front of the crease and he tripped the guy when he's trying to leave the zone. So it's literally 200 feet away from his goal. It's just terrible. It's, to me, Kevin LeBanc seems like a guy that was always the best on his team and never had to work hard, like he got by on skill, and then he gets to the NHL and you can't do that at this level. Now he's kind of an in-betweener because at the AHL level, he's just going to dominate. I mean, it's too late for him to just get sent down, but he's too good for the AHL. NHL, he's got some skills that he can put up points and score, but his overall 200-foot game is not there. There was another goal, I think it was tonight, where he was it last, or maybe it was the other game, where he had a turnover in his own zone, and he just a lackluster effort to get back and stop the guy, and they scored a goal off of it. It just happens a lot to him, and I hate picking on him. I don't want to like single him out, kind of, and I feel bad about it because I want him to do better. But at the same time, man, he's costing the Sharks a lot. I'm shocked that he didn't get benched after the 2 penalties that he took in the second period today. I don't know if that was a numbers thing, but I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. I wouldn't be surprised. I'll put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised if he scratched the next game or sent, pushed down the lineup a little bit.
I meant to look that up to see what his ice time looked like in the third period. But then I scratched that idea entirely because I saw him in the overtime and I saw he got chosen for shootout as well. So I don't know, maybe just short memory for the coach, right? Just, hey, we know what the guy's capable of, throw him back out. Who knows? But the one thing that kind of beyond Kevin LeBanc here is that the depth of the team. Now, you had a bit of a Twitter war of words with one of the followers, I think, and it was about depth scoring. And I don't know. I'll let you talk about that in a second. But you get Lawrence, and he's doing his best Cunnin garbage collector impersonation. I was gonna have super producer Jason literally do a nasty cutout of Lorenz's face and slap it on top of that image you guys just got right there. But he was right in front of the net, and just it's just a bang bang kind of thing. Like the shot comes in, and here comes Lawrence and shoots it on his backhand. Goalie makes a save, and he just follows up again, just picks it up, throws right in the net. I don't know if you saw. I think it was Addison, the defenseman. When Lawrence went through the first time around, as the shot was coming through, he kind of got his stick up, and Addison just, oh my goodness, like he just got shot in the face, right? And because he decided to do that, Lawrence was able to get that first shot. He got positioned to get that first shot. And Addison, as soon as he shoots it, Addison's like, oh, he goes and lunges for it. And then he sees the goalie makes a save, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. I guess we're good then. And then Lawrence gets the follow-up shot. And it's like, dude, for all, and again, this isn't a shark that I'm talking about, but for all the kids that are watching this, right? Don't give up on the play. Like, continue to play the game until they blow the whistle, guys. Don't just think, oh, the goalie made the save, I'm cool now. Or, oh, I should flop in front of the, no, that guy's going to score a goal if you keep doing that. So keep playing throughout the entire way until you hear the whistle. And thankfully, Lawrence kept it going and scores a goal on that play. So it's the first one that the Sharks picked up in this game. And eventually we'll have, I almost said Nico Sturm taking a shot through a screen. I thought it went off the inside leg of the defenseman, but it didn't. It just went through clean. And man, what a shot from pretty far away too. And it just, again, goalie just could not see through the screen. And Sturm just fires it in there. So you get some nice depth scoring from these guys. Again, Lawrence, who I didn't really have huge expectations for him, but Nico Sturm, I was really excited about him coming in. I didn't know exactly how excited I would be. I mean, I really do like this player. So he's got what now? 6 goals on the season now, Aaron?
Yeah, that was his 6th goal.
So, I mean, this is a guy, when you talk about depth scoring, he's not in the top 6. And he's got 6 goals on the season so far. And we're how many, 13, 14 games in, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
games in.
I would consider that depth scoring. Now, I'm going to give you the floor here because, again, you had a little bit of a little chat with some folks on Twitter, I think was what it was. So go ahead, fire away.
I don't really like to feed the trolls, but this one just kind of irks me a little bit because he was they were saying that they were claiming that Sturm was not depth scoring because he's one of the top 6 forwards on the team. I mean, I can't disagree because he's scoring, but he is played on the third line. So to me, third and fourth liners are your depth scorers. And if you're really interested, you can go to my Twitter and read about our back and forth. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I thought that goal through the screen, through the guy's legs, is like a veteran move there. It's a good goal by a guy that knows what he's doing at the NHL level. Sturm, again, has just blown me away of how good he is and how good he makes the team because the stuff in the locker room we don't see, but I did put a clip in last week of him talking. He's a very eloquent speaker. He's a good leader. He's very, very smart. So he's kind of like to me, another Nick Bonino who had all of a sudden he's the shootout goal specialist. We can talk about that later, but dang, what a move. But Sturm to me is like a guy that's a building block piece that you're going to want. And I'm glad he was signed for 3 years. I was excited when he came in because he just came from the Colorado Avalanche. He was on Minnesota and he got traded, I believe, to Colorado and won a cup with them. So I think he's a fantastic player, and on a very good team, he's a 4th line center. On the Sharks, he's a 3rd line center, and he's 3rd, I think, on scoring goals on the team, which is, I mean, everything you'd want in a depth scoring player, this guy's doing it. Absolutely doing it. Plays hard every night. brings it every night. And I'm sure he's helping that locker room. The last 2 seasons, we've been talking about a cultural change, right? Like the cultural shift. This is building on top of that. So love it. And I'm glad he's part of the organization. And I hope they do not trade him. I don't think they would. And I think if they do trade him, it's going to be a big haul because it's going to take a lot to pry him away. So nobody is untradeable. I'm not going to say that, but it would take a lot to bring him to another team.
Excellent point. I think it'll absolutely take him a lot to pry him away from the Sharks. So we're looking forward to how that develops. I would prefer that he just sticks with us for the next few seasons, even if we're not going to be competitive necessarily in these next coming seasons, 1 or 2. But in that 3rd season, if we start turning things around, I'd love to see him stick with the Sharks. That'd be awesome. Another guy who has kind of impressed me with his second chance here, I think, with the Sharks, we can call it. And he's a guy that has been, again, as you said, with Sturm, working hard and all shifts, is Šimik. And unfortunately for Šimik, he got hit, it looks like on the chin, and he had to leave the game. So this is it sucks because you want this guy to come back strong and healthy and get his opportunity, but he just he takes one on the chin and now he's out again. So from last season where he just wasn't getting the chance, to this season where he's getting that opportunity with all new eyes on him, and then all of a sudden again he's out again. So I feel really bad for Šimik, and I hope that he has a swift recovery and he's back soon. It just seems like this guy just can't catch a break like right now. I don't know what else to say about it. Unfortunately, did you see the hit, by the way?
Mm-mm. I didn't notice until later, and they're like, "Oh, Šimik has been on the ice." I'm like, "Oh, what happened?" I didn't get to see what happened to him.
Yeah,
and I haven't heard an update either.
Yeah, so he was on the left side boards, and he was passing the puck up or dumping it out. He had the puck briefly, gets it out, and the player, I don't remember his name, skated. He was skating in front of him, but then he actually turned his trajectory to go back and leaned back with his shoulder into him. So it was, I don't want to say like predatory necessarily, but the dude was trying to give him a hit. So yeah, it was just one of those ones where it's like he's already released the puck. You're already past him. You had to make an effort to skate back, throw your shoulder back to make that connection. And now he's out for I don't know how long. So we'll see how it goes. Was it
a shoulder thing?
Yeah, it was a shoulder to the chin, I think is what it was. Guys in chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it looked like. And what's his name? Yeah, and oh gosh, Scott Hannon on the broadcast was saying, here, take a look from this angle. And Corey Masek actually retweeted it if you guys want to check that one out. But from the other angle, you can absolutely see how he's coming like in front of him and then comes back to hit him. And yeah, it just doesn't look good. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted there because I got Samantha Burtis in the chat again, who is not Samantha. It's Jackson. Hi, Chalk Puel. So this is Jackson. Jackson's 10. Hey, it's Coach, not Chuck. There you go. Coach Paul. There you go.
Correct.
Thank you, buddy. Hey, I hope you're not in bed with your mom's phone getting yourself in trouble right now, kid. You better I'm gonna call and make sure that you're not getting me in trouble. Okay. So let's see. Compare a hit to Cunnin hit. Aaron, did you remember seeing the Cunnin hit?
I never got to see the replay because I was there live and they didn't show it in the stadium.
That's right.
I didn't get to look at it.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Anthony, we were both there, I think, for that one. So yeah, we just didn't get to see it. Peter St. John having a laugh at the whole Coach Paul thing, I think. Yeah, go to bed, Jackson. Anyway, yeah, I think we want to do a roll call here, and you've got something here that you wanted to bring up, something pretty cool that we'll be attending. So why don't you go ahead and take this away?
Sure. This Tuesday night, the Sharks are going to be playing against the Vegas Knights, and they are away. So there's going to be a viewing party that the Teal City crew is going to be hosting at S27 Alehouse Brewery. Paul, me, and super producer Jason will be there. So if you guys are interested and you're in town and you want to come, there's going to be trivia. There's going to be some merchandise to purchase. There's going to be raffles. There's going to be all kinds of stuff and a lot of people there. I have not been to this brewery yet, so I'm excited to go to it. And I believe super producer Jason has been a few times, so he loves it. And Paul, I don't believe you've been yet either. So excited to check out this new spot. Possibly, maybe we'll do a little. We're not going to do a show there, but we might do a little segment or something that we'll plug for, or that we'll use next week for our show. So come on out and have a couple brews or waters if you don't drink, and watch the Sharks hopefully beat Vegas. Because I was talking about this in our fantasy league because we have this chat room, and I was like, I don't care if the Sharks lose every game, but I want them to beat Vegas. Like, I want them to be the bottom of the standings, but beat Vegas every game that they can. So I will be rooting hard for the Sharks.
Mrs. Miller would be very upset with you, Aaron. It should be Paul, super producer Jason, and I will be going, not me.
Sorry.
Goodness gracious. Anyway,
Sorry,
so this is the roll call. Go ahead, fire away here.
Oh, so roll call. Tell us where you're watching from and if you will be going on Tuesday night. Anthony just said, I don't drink alcohol. Can I go? Of course you can go. I believe it's open to all ages. Not quite sure. So that would mean you don't have to be 21. Don't quote me on that, though, because I don't know.
I'm sure super producer Jason knows much better than you do, and we'll put it in the chat momentarily. However,
yes, they also
if you don't
food.
drink alcohol, yes, I'm sure they have water and other things that you can have. It says right there, actually, non-alcoholic selections, along with the taco cart. Who doesn't love the taco cart? If you don't love the taco cart, you can leave the stream right now. Also, I've got Peter St. John wanting to comment on the whole Jackson situation here. Paul, looks like your guy Jackson is refusing to go to bed. Insubordination? Yes, absolutely insubordination. Okay. So, yeah. So are you looking forward to this? It sounds like it's going to be a fun time, man. Should be good.
I'm excited. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't get out much, so I'm excited to go out and watch a game. It's exciting.
Nice. Oh my goodness. All
Not
right.
gonna lie.
Moving on from that, let's we'll get some comments going on in there. It'd be nice to check out the roll call and see. We'll go back to that one in just a bit here. So, Aaron, are the Sharks a bad team, or do they just have bad luck? Now, you've gone through and you've looked at a whole bunch of stats with regard to high danger chances and whatnot, and it seems you've done a little bit of digging on this. So, why don't you go ahead and explain your take on this?
Sure. I'm piggybacking off of Corey's article, actually. He just covered this last week. I thought it was interesting because, to me, you watch the Sharks and you're like, they look better. To me, they look better than they have in the last 3 years. They're getting what seems like a lot of chances, and I feel like they're not scoring on them. Well, there's actually data to back this up. So I went through the data on Natural Stat Trick, which is a website, and they define high danger chances. This is kind of a definition or a formula kind of if not all shots are the same. There's shots that come from the blue line that are not very dangerous, that the goalie will either glove, knock off, or you don't even hit the net. Then there's there are shots that are very close to the net that are a lot more dangerous. So high danger chances kind of basically loosely defined right in front of the goal. So in a certain space, this little square in front, they call it the slot. Mainly that area makes most people will be scoring from this high danger area. It's also one of the hardest to get open. And this is, if you think about when Chichu and Thornton were playing, this is kind of where Chichu made his bread and butter. He was always able to get open in this high danger area. And Joe Thornton, especially at that time in the prime of his career, was always going to find his stick. So this is like, that's probably the best way to think about it. So going into that, the Sharks, are they good or are they bad? High danger chances for. Now, you have to think, the Sharks played their first 2 games of the season earlier than everyone, so they kind of have more games than everyone. But they are 6th for the most high danger chances for, and that was after this game. These stats are coming from after the Minnesota game. So they had 174 high danger chances for, which ranks them 6th most in the NHL. Against, they have 153, which ranks them 25th. So not great, but again, they have more games, so they're going to have more chances against. But the good news is they have more for than against. That's probably the best way to look at that. But this is where the telling part is. High danger goals for, they only have 11, and they're tied for 30th in the league. And against, they have 20, almost double. and they are tied for 25th against. That this is kind of where the difference is. Now, this last part, and I know I'm getting a little stat heavy here. High danger shot percentage, we're looking at 8.66%. They are dead last in the league. So yes, your eye test is showing you the Sharks are terrible when they get their high danger chances. Like, you see all these chances they get in front of the net, and you're like, well, oh man, they just either missed the net or the goalie saved it or whatever. They are 8.66%, which is dead last. The next 31st percent or 31st team is at 11.76%. Was that 3% higher, which is huge when you're condensing that much stuff. So, again, I'm going to use this word again, or this phrase, market correction. Hopefully that starts to go up, but this also plays into the talent level that the Sharks have or don't have, right? At the forward position. Most of these are going to be forwards. You're not going to get a lot of defensemen getting high danger chances. So most of these are speaking to your forwards that are like Cunnin, your garbage collector in front of the goal, doing their job.
So interestingly, if you take a look at the high danger chances by player, Timo Meier has the most on the team with 35, right? He's got 7 goals. Unfortunately, I can't tell how many of the goals are high danger goals because they just didn't put that as a stat for me. I'm sure it's somewhere. Unfortunately, I can't find that. The next in line is Logan Couture at 22. So that's a whole, 13 chances different. So Timo Meier is getting in the slot and he's doing work. The unfortunate thing again for Timo is he was snake bit. So his shooting percentage is 8.05, which is in lockstep with that was an 8.66 that you were just talking about, right? So it seems like it goes how Timo goes essentially, right? But yeah, after the 35 high danger chances for Timo, it's Logan and Hurdle with 22 apiece. And then you got guys like Cunnin, Lorentz, Nieto, LeBanc, Sturm. These aren't names that, are going to score lots of goals really. So, is it that they have bad luck, or is it that the guys that they put in those situations are just incapable of finishing? I think with the exception of Nico Sturm, because he's got 6 goals on the season so far. Interesting stat, by the way, is Evgeny Svechnikov. His shooting percentage is 20%. He's only taken 15 shots. He's got 3 goals. So give that man the puck. Same thing with Nico. Nico's got 20% shooting percentage right now. Now, again, it's going to be market correction and everything else, but it seems like whatever they're doing seems to be working at the moment, which is good. But in terms of the high danger, for everybody else on the team not named Timo Meier, okay, Hurdle and Couture, sure, those are big names, but like these aren't guys that are going to be scoring lots of goals. Now Cunnin's in there at the number 4, right? In terms of the high danger chances. And that's why we have the garbage collector slide for him. Because that's kind of what he's going to do. He's going to get in those dirty areas and he's going to try to bang them home. The unfortunate thing for Cunnin is he's really only got the 2 goals on the season so far. And I don't think any of them are 5-on-5. I think they're both power play. So it's just kind of like, well, where's it going to come from? Right. And I can understand where people are saying, well, there's not the depth scoring, but again, you take a look at some of these names that I just rattled off. There's only a goal here and there, maybe for them, a couple goals here, 4 goals for Hurdle, 6 goals for Sturm, 3 for Svechnikov, right? There's only a handful here and there, but it is coming from kind of everybody down there at least. The only ones that I see that haven't really scored are Nick Bonino, Gadjevich, Lindblom is unfortunate. And then you've got the monstrosity that is Erik Karlsson with 10 goals. You wanted to hear about his high danger chances? This is a hilarious one. Guess how many high danger chances Erik Karlsson has?
Less than a dozen.
5. You got a blue liner, right? But still, right. It's the fact that he even has 5 in the first place, quite frankly, is pretty awesome. But
think about he had that breakaway goal in overtime. It's probably all overtime stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So, again, is it that they're have bad luck or they just don't have the personnel? I think they're doing the right things in terms of getting the play to create a high danger chance, but I don't think they have the guys there that can actually finish it. So I don't know, maybe hopefully we see that changes a little bit down the road here, but that's kind of been my take on that whole question that we posed here. So
I think they have good luck because they're getting their chances, but they have bad personnel and they're not scoring on them. So it's less luck about the goals and more of not enough skill to be put in. I think Nico Sturm, right, should be a 4th line center on a good team. And this guy would bury those chances, or has been. Now you fill in that third line with some better players. Now you're looking at probably 20, 30 more goals as a team collectively than you would. And that's probably the difference of being a bubble playoff team and not. So there's your big chunk right there of what's missing, which I think will be coming next season.
Hopefully so. It looks like all of my my roller and ice family is coming out of the woodworks here. So Stefan Paklev, that's as a parent of one of the kids that my son plays with. We we aren't a big offense threat, but our PK is top notch. Absolutely, Aaron. What do you think about the PK so far? They've been doing a pretty decent job, huh?
The PK has not been a problem for the last 5 seasons.
Yeah,
so yeah, they keep doing what they're doing, and they have figured out penalty killing, and it's fantastic because as soon as that disappears, it's going to get ugly. So that's helping save this team. Absolutely.
Speaking of saves, he brings up another good point here, Stefan. I'm sorry, no, that was Kellen saying this. The goaltending is saving the PK. I have to agree to some extent. Not so much that the PK needs saving, because I think the PK is pretty good on its own, but the goaltending, specifically James Reimer, has been phenomenal. I will say that. I think Kaapo Kähkönen has got a little bit more growing to do, and that's okay. But James Reimer has been absolutely lights out for the Sharks, win or lose. He's given you everything he's got every single night. Absolutely love the guy, and it'll be sad when he gets traded this season.
The Sharks needed a goalie like Reimer that's going to keep them in games, and that's absolutely what he does. Tonight's game that you saw it, if you watched the game, you would have seen how many times they went down a couple goals, but he kept them right in it. And sure enough, the Sharks are able to bounce back and score 2. So that win is well deserved by Reimer tonight, because he definitely stands on his head most nights. There's not many nights where he gets chased out of the net because he's playing poorly.
You know what? That's actually an interesting point. I do remember just a few seasons ago, it seemed like Martin Jones, that whole saga where it was like almost every other game he was getting swapped out, or one of the goalies was getting pulled. We really haven't seen a whole lot of that this season, have we?
No, I don't.
If at all.
I don't know if we've seen a hook yet. Maybe for Kähkönen, but not for Reimer.
Let's see here. Yeah. I know that we said we were done talking about him. Okay. I know that we said the saga was over.
No.
But I just hope he's okay, and I want to wish him well. Okay.
Go ahead.
If you didn't catch this, folks, Evander Kane of the Edmonton Oilers, and this isn't a laughing matter, but he got knocked over, wrist on the ice. Pat Maroon skates across the wrist. If you haven't seen it, it's a hard watch, because you could see him kind of getting up and running over as fast as he can. I did want to just bring it up just very briefly, just because it was kind of like, wow.
No, it's fine. I refuse to watch it. I just don't want to. I heard about it. I don't want to watch it, because I've seen a different one where the skate comes up and hits somebody up here. And when it happens, you're like, wow, you forget how sharp those skates are, how dangerous this game is. And I'm shocked this doesn't happen more often. More skate injuries,
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. It's scary.
So if you didn't see it, essentially what happened was Pat Maroon kind of accidentally skated over Evander Kane's wrist. He had to cover up his wrist as soon as he could, skated over to the bench. Hats off really to the staff, to the medical team that's there. And I think they were away, so they didn't really have like their own facility. They just kind of had whatever they have with them, whatever that may be. And they were able to get that taken care of. And then the ambulance came, and he said that basically once the ambulance got there, things got a lot easier and whatnot. Now he's going to be out for a little while. But again, I didn't want to bring up Evander Kane anymore, but for the reasons that we were bringing him up previously. This time around, it's a little bit different. I just want to wish the guy well. And I hope that he has a speedy recovery, because he's having a great season. I think it's like 12, 13 points in almost as many games.
Well, he scored so many goals last year for Edmonton. He really was like the catalyst for that team, getting them going and getting them deeper in the playoffs. I feel bad, and I never wish well or ill will against other people, even, doesn't matter how good or bad they are. I just would never want that. I was reading some doctor who posted on Twitter when it happened that depending on the severity of the cut, it could be like, he could have tendons could have been cut and you would need some surgery to repair it. And I don't know what the final outcome was and how much the damage was, but it's going to be, I think he's gonna be out 3 to 4 months. So he won't be back until after the All-Star break practically, which is just too bad. So yeah. Anthony, the nastiest skate incident in the NHL's Buffalo in the late 80s.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Don't Google it.
Don't look that up, Clint Malarchuk. Don't look that up.
No.
So anyway, anyway, I just want to say, it's one of those things where, again, we didn't want to bring him up anymore, but when it's something like this, I feel like we should just kind of, hey, we wish you well, bud. Not that he's watching us, but like we wish him well.
Absolutely. I kudos to that training staff, and this is why there's an ambulance at every single game in case something like this happens. There's no tragedy on the ice. They're able to save people's lives, literally, and keep the game playing. So thankfully, all good news, and he was fine.
So Anthony Sanchez saying Kane is out for 4 to 6 months, but the Sharks will be back on Tuesday against Vegas. Aaron, we talked about this a little bit already, just because this is the viewing party that we had already talked about. But so they'll be playing against the Vegas Golden Knights. This is one of those games that, gosh, we hate to see, but it's on the schedule. There it is. So I don't know, man. What do you think? I mean, I don't think the rivalry is quite what it used to be, especially since Reeves is no longer a part of that team. But of course, because the Sharks aren't really competitive with them. But I don't know. What do you think about this game? Are you expecting anything? And then if there's any last little thing you want to wrap up about the viewing party, go ahead and fire one.
Well, I think the Sharks kind of play up to their opponent. And right now, Vegas is second in the league. So I think it'll be more interesting than you think it would be. I mean, their Achilles heel is their goaltending. I don't think that's a secret. They're lucky that they have enough goal scoring to prop it up, but they have basically kind of a rookie, and then they have Aiden Hill. We know what Aiden Hill brings and what he doesn't bring. So I'm hoping the Sharks can score early, open up the game a little bit, and maybe not get a shootout win, but a regular win. Because last year, who was it? Bordelot had scored that beautiful shootout goal against Vegas that put the hammer in the coffin for them, where they missed the playoffs. It's fantastic. I just only wish for more of that. So hopefully the Sharks can pull out a win here. I would be very, very happy, and I'm sure we would be very happy at the viewing party that I hope some of you at least will make it out to. So tell your friends, and if you're local, definitely come out to the viewing party. Again, this is at S27 Brewery. It's in San Jose. It's right off of Kurtner exit, off of 87, kind of right around there. So just south of downtown, not too far from where the Sharks play. And we're going to have a good time. And you know what? We're going to actually raffle off some of our own swag while we're there. So we'll bring a hat and a shirt combo to raffle off. Why not? Let's do it.
Okay. So Aaron said he's going to pay for the hat and the shirt himself so that we can raffle it off. There you go. Yay. Anthony Sanchez with the right idea here. I just hope the Sharks play physical and finish their checks. And then Peter St. John has a question for you, Aaron. Are you a little bitter that Vegas is doing so well?
Not bitter. I'm actually a little shocked. I thought they would be doing a little worse than they are. Bitter's not quite. They're a good team, but I just don't like them.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're done with the Vegas game here. Then moving on from Tuesday goes to Thursday against Detroit. Again, Aaron, is this going to be one of those games? I know Detroit hasn't been like the most flashiest team lately. So what do you see in this game? Is this another one of those ones where the Sharks maybe end up playing down, or are they going to be kind of competitive in this one?
Detroit's kind of a team that's on the up and up. So they've been very down the last couple of years, kind of accruing some higher end picks and prospects. So they're starting to kind of put it all together. I think they're going through some injuries this season, early in the season. So not quite there for the taking, but again, the Sharks kind of play down to their opponent. So that one's rough. I'm going to say, and you know what's going to suck is I don't know for those of you who remember from back in the day, Detroit used to be in the same division as the Sharks, which is just odd because they're on East Coast time zone. But they used to play here a bunch, and every time they would come here, there's a lot of transplants from Detroit. And so SAP used to turn into Detroit Haven for all of Red Wings fans. And this was probably in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. I guess all the 90s, all the early 2000s. Then they switched eventually over, I think after the lockout, they switched them to the East Coast conference, so the Sharks didn't see him as much. But since they play once a year, you'll probably see a lot of Detroit fans there, and it's on a Thursday night. I feel like the Sharks are really filling the arena on Saturday nights, not so much on Tuesday, or definitely not Tuesdays, but Thursdays are kind of a little weak too. So don't be surprised if there's a lot of red in the arena. But it should be a winnable game, competitive at least, but we'll see.
I want to go back to the VGK game just for one comment. Kellen Foster saying, Goodrow, number 23. Bordeleau, number 23. The new number 23 is Lindblom. Does he score?
I hope he scores. That's a guy I want to see start scoring. So another depth.
I want to see Oscar on the board. I agree with you, buddy. If for anything else, just his own career, I want to see him kind of launch pad himself again, have a resurgence. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so look for a good one. That one's at home, the Detroit game. We finish up the road trip in Vegas. We come back home on Thursday for Detroit, and we continue that homestand through Saturday against the New York Rangers. Aaron, David Quinn's former team.
And speaking of Reams, this is where he's at now. So maybe we'll see a little action with what's his name? Reeves. Sorry, I said Reeves. Reeves. Blah. It's late, tired. It's almost 10. Yeah, so this will be a great game. Another bunch, original 6 team. So back-to-back original 6s. We're going to see a lot of Rangers fans, especially since the Rangers have been pretty much a cup favorite. There's going to be a lot of fans in the stands on Saturday. What are you going to say?
I was going to say Lundy chimed in here and said Aaron seems bitter about Braun being traded a couple years ago. I don't think so at all. Lundy, you are projecting, my friend. Nobody said a word about Braun.
That guy. How many Braun jerseys do you own, Lundy? Just curious.
That is a great question. Lundy, how many Braun jerseys do you own? And do you own ones that aren't Sharks jerseys?
That's I was going to say, do you own one for every team that he's been on?
Anthony Sanchez is making the assertion that Lindblom looks lost on the ice. Doesn't look like a fit for him as a Shark. Maybe that's it. And I haven't really watched him with that mindset. Does he fit? I don't know. Aaron, do you think – I feel like the way that the guy plays, he should be a fit for this team. Do you feel the same way? I mean, he's one of those guys that, you expect him to use his body, his size. And when you look at the guys that David Quinn wants and the guys that Mike Greer put together, assembled the roster, he seems like he'd be a fit, but it just doesn't seem to be working out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could be part of the coaching staff too, not liking what he's doing. So, I don't know. I want to see him get his kind of confidence and swagger back a little bit. So maybe he's just not there. Maybe it's not right for him. Maybe there's some other stuff going on outside of hockey that just isn't playing well with what he is trying to do here. I don't know. And I'm not going to try and speculate about anything either, but
sure.
That's a guy that I definitely want to see hope to have a bounce back compared to where he was 3 years ago before he had all this cancer stuff. So I don't think we're not the only ones that are bummed about this.
Yeah. And again, it's not so much, gosh, I want the guy to produce for the Sharks because, reasons, but I think for him, just as a player, gosh, I would love to see him bounce back. It'd be such a good story for him, and I was hoping he'd be able to do it here. And then, if he plays himself out of San Jose by, getting a trade somewhere that can actually use him for a playoff run, great for him, but it just doesn't seem like that's kind of in the cards right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. And actually I'll kind of start watching the games more with, does this guy seem like he fits? And maybe I'll have another answer for you next time around here. So there you go. Okay. Aaron, any last second? I think we're done here, aren't we?
I think we are.
Okay.
Excited for Tuesday. Hopefully I can see some of you guys out there.
Yes, absolutely. And do us a favor. If you have purchased any Fin Factor swag, please wear it. That'd be awesome to see you guys with hats and shirts and fanny packs. If you have fanny packs, rock it, people. Okay, they're making a resurgence. Maybe not, but we're gonna try. So anything you got, feel free to bring it over there, and we'd love to see you guys. So
yeah, if you purchase anything, we can do free delivery if you show up on Tuesday.
Oh, did you clear that with super producer Jason yet? Because
Nope.
he's gonna slap you
Nope.
when this is done.
So any orders that come in by the end of Monday.
See? Oh my goodness!
We'll hand
dude.
deliver them.
Yeah, now you're completely covered up. That's super producer Jason, you are phenomenal. You're amazing. By the way, Lundy says he's got 2 brown jerseys amongst other things. So there you go. Okay, hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate you jumping in the comments. Even if you're 10 years old, hiding your phone from your mom, we appreciate you guys so much. Thanks again. If you guys want to support the show, feel free. Again, you can do that with the super chat. You can do that through Venmo at the Fin Factor. You can go to thefinfactor.com and you can purchase any of the products that we have there: hats, shirts, water bottles, fanny packs, stickers, whatever. We got a lot of stuff there. So feel free to do that. And then, Lundy's upset with me. I answered the question and didn't read it. I did. I said you've got a couple Braun jerseys amongst other things. I think he said 2 Burns jerseys and a Couture jersey, and none of them are autographed. None of the Braun jerseys are autographed. See, I read it, sort of. Again, whatever. Anyway, you guys feel free to support the show that way if you'd like to. So we would appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much. And again, if you're going to show up on Tuesday, please do. But if you do, and you have any of our swag, please show up with it. That'd be awesome. We'd love to get some pictures with you guys. That would be great. Okay, so Aaron, any last second thing that you want to say in a very tiny voice?
Nope.
All right, cool. For super producer Jason, I am much larger sized Paul.
And I'm tiny Aaron. Oh.
And the people on the podcast are so confused right now. But we will see you guys
next week.
Next week.
Tuesday,
yeah. Tuesday and then next week as well.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.